Welcome back to Business Talk here on businesstech.co.za. And as we wrap up 2025, today we're diving into one of the most fascinating inflection points in South African retail banking in over a decade. For this sector, I think the numbers tell one story. We've seen uneven growth, squeezed consumers, rising fraud risk, and more competition than ever. From Capitec's dominance to Time's unicorn status to the looming arrival of Revolut, it's certainly a dynamic space. But another story is unfolding, and that is the rise of the pure play digital bank, stitched together with behavioral science, ecosystem economics, and some of the most advanced AI tooling that's been deployed in South African finance ever. And I think few institutions embody that shift more fully than Discovery Bank. It's just come off a standout 2025. Rapid client growth, a swing into profitability, AI-driven security innovations, and a very headline-grabbing announcement that they're going to be the first African mobile bank to integrate crypto trading into the banking experience. So to make sense of it all, I'm joined by Hylton Kallner, CEO of Discovery Bank. Hylton, a great pleasure to have you back on the show. Let's just talk with the headline numbers in mind here. Your client base is up around 30%. I think the last time we spoke, you had crossed roughly 1.2 million customers. You've moved from losses into profit in the second half of the financial year ahead of plan. And when you look back at the last 12 to 18 months, what were the one or two strategic decisions that really shifted the economics of the bank?
So I think, Michael, if we look back almost from the outset, but in particular, I think it's accelerated over the last year. The four hypotheses that the bank was really built on and launched on have played out, I think, as you say, better than expectations. We set out to build a full service, full suite, full product retail bank, and with the addition of products like personal loans and home loans in particular, we've seen I think the kind of the relevance and the kind of accessibility of the bank increase. Our shared value model, which is really focused on making our clients financially healthier, aligning their behavior with the incentives that we offer and the rewards and ecosystems, in particular, monetizing that better behavior in better interest rates and our miles currency, I think has been kind of one of the real success factors. And the entire Discovery ecosystem today is monetized in Discovery miles via the bank. The third hypothesis was that, you could build a branchless, mobile first, digital first, really kind of technology, kind of like state of the art, technology driven bank has really played out. I think, we see the fintech trends just starting to accelerate. And I think hopefully we've built a bank and an app that our clients love to use. And it is the highest rated bank app in the App Store. And I think it kind of brings together all of the benefits and the real features and convenience of digital banking in one simple to use, seamless kind of experience for our clients. And then the fourth was that the bank would form the kind of the front end or digital platform for the entire Discovery group, all of your Discovery products as a client in the bank. And that's playing out, I think, really, really strongly. And today, over 80% of digital interactions with our clients across the whole Discovery group in South Africa are via the bank. So I think, all of these areas, I think, are really getting good traction. They're accelerating, and I think, clients are really enjoying them. So I think that's really what's contributed to everything coming together this year.
And I think, it proved some of the doubters wrong in terms of when you look at a high net worth segment, and I think Discovery does certainly attract that. It was always thought that, no, you'd need branches, you'd need that kind of high touch, but you've done it in a digital way. You've just been rated best bank for customer service in the Ask Africa Orange Index for the fourth year in a row. So you are getting it right, reconciling that premium service expectation of an affluent client base with a low cost digital only operating model, which I think to me has been, the real achievement here. You're also innovating, and you continue to innovate. I recall having you on a panel at the Gibbs Beyond Banking conference, and you were talking about how you are using AI in store and that kind of thing. But you're about to become the first major South African bank and the first African mobile bank to integrate crypto trading directly into the banking app through Luno. You've got 50 plus assets available. Why is now the right moment to do this, given what we're seeing in the crypto universe?
So I think, it's been very, very well received, I have to tell you. So I think, I think that's maybe indicative of the fact that it is the right moment. But I think for us, the regulatory environment has really firmed up. I think that the South African regulators are amongst the best in the world, I think recognized as such. And the regulatory environment has become much more supportive um, of crypto as an asset class. If you look at South African consumers, the trend is strong. There are over 6 million South Africans that have crypto assets in some shape or form. So that's kind of 1 in 10 South Africans, a lot of them being our clients. And so what we really want our Discovery Bank app to be is a central repository for every single aspect of your financial life. And so, providing access to an asset class like crypto, simply seamlessly in the Discovery Bank app, which is an environment that our clients are very, very familiar with, is we think a great benefit for them. So that's really, I guess, the thinking behind the initiative with Luno. And I think it's, as I said, it's been really, really well received. So I think it certainly resonated.
I've got to ask you, just at a bank level, so I mean, it's really interesting, as you mentioned, 6 million South Africans having some exposure to the sector. And obviously, you're doing this to enable those consumers that or customers that you have already on the bank to just have that ease of access and ease of use. At a bank level, though, do you see Discovery Bank ever holding crypto on its own balance sheet, or is the intention just to remain purely an access at a custody layer via Luno?
Yeah, so the current intention is really to facilitate the access directly into clients' Luno accounts. So we're not taking custody of the assets, and effectively we're providing a very, very seamless integrated service for our clients where they can fund their accounts in real time, they can see the balances, they can trade in real time with all the liquidity that they have access to traditionally on the Luno platform, all of the pricing around over 50 currencies. And so, I think that for us, it's about kind of the convenience that we're providing our clients through this integration, which, as you say, is the first of its kind on the continent.
Very interesting indeed. And if you see sort of material volume explosion on the back of this, does that change how you think about cross-selling traditional savings and investment products? Using this as a test case.
I think it's certainly very interesting to see the behavior, and what we've done is we've incentivized or at least integrated the balances directly into the bank app so we can see them, your crypto balances and assets, and we give Vitality Money points to our clients for holding the assets. So kind of recognizing the value that we would any other asset that they have, whether it be fixed deposits or cash or equities. So I think it starts to bring the kind of the full picture of the client's finances directly into the bank app. And as we start to see how they behave and how they trade and what the kind of the frequency and the trends are, then obviously I think it will start to open up new avenues for growth and product innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of innovation, you've really innovated when it comes to building trust. And I think, we're having this conversation around the Black Friday period where, there's obviously a lot of attention given to reducing online fraud and building trust. You've got this new trust alert system. It doesn't just rely on static rules, which is fascinating, but it uses AI to understand my unique behavioral fingerprint, so to speak. So maybe you could just explain how that works, how that kind of real-time warning system fundamentally changes the game in protecting me from modern scams.
Yes, I think as you say, we do believe it changes the game in the sense that it's completely personalized and based on your individual behavior and analysis of each and every single transaction in real time. So we'll evaluate the transaction, whether it be a payment or a credit card online transaction that you're making as a client. We'll look at your personal behavior historically. So as you say, essentially almost your financial fingerprint or DNA and how you behave. So you may be a client who typically stacks up your kind of your bills and pays them all at the end of the month. So kind of a large number of transactions on a specific day. Or you may be a client that kind of pays as you go, or a client that only pays, makes payments either when you're at home or in the office, at specific times. And obviously there'll be exceptions, but for every single client, there are kind of trends and behaviors that we're able to observe. At the same time, we look at the beneficiary, the payee, and able to identify or understand, is this a new beneficiary, the first time you're paying somebody? Is it trusted? Um, and are there other clients that are paying that beneficiary? So all of those factors are brought together, analyzed in real time using a very, very sophisticated AI model, to really assess the level of risk that we would associate with that specific transaction. If we think that it is a very risky transaction based on the various attributes or kind of behaviors around that specific transaction, during the kind of the journey, we'll simply flag it to the client. The screen actually changes red to indicate that this is an elevated risk, and then ask the client to effectively pause to confirm and check the beneficiary details, and then make the payment if they're comfortable. And what this allows is a seamless journey for the client, so it doesn't add any friction. At the same time, it really gives a very, very high level of specificity around what might be a fraudulent transaction. And we hope that it really does assist clients in managing their money, because I think the level of fraud, as you say, is becoming more sophisticated but much more frequent and prevalent in the environment. So using technology to really assist our clients in a unique way, we think is really powerful.
And I suppose, the challenge for banks has always been, this tension between wanting to provide a seamless experience at a kind of customer level, and then balancing that with the need to ensure that we're guarding against the increased sophistication of bad actors. And when it comes to fraud, and we've spoken about how AI is being used to detect it, but it's also being used by the attackers to spoof people. You can mimic someone's voice now. You can use an LLM to have a conversation with them. It's absolutely frightening. So maybe you could just share a little bit more about how this trust alert, alongside your multi-layered security pyramid, directly addresses these concerns. Because I think the data shows that over 60% of South Africans are more concerned about banking security than a year ago.
And then over 80% of clients that we survey have received some form of a message or an SMS or a call from some that is fraudulent. So as you say, the kind of the prevalence and the frequency is increasing exponentially, as the cost almost of technology to the fraudsters has come down as well. And so that makes it much more, I guess, sort of prevalent in the environment. But for us, I think as you say, it is a multi-layer. We have our digital account vault, which we launched earlier this year, which allows our clients to effectively hide or secure their most valuable accounts behind a personalized PIN code that sits within their Discovery Bank app. So even if their phone is stolen, there's kind of an additional level of protection. There's a panic code if you're having to access that under duress, that alerts us that your accounts are being accessed against your will. So kind of protecting our clients against physical threats as well. And as you say, the kind of the real benefit of the trust alert is that it doesn't rely on hard rules where you end up having a lot of what we call false positives. So in order to try and kind of secure or protect clients, you end up having to effectively stop a lot of payments, because today, once a real-time payment is initiated, the funds flow and effectively are very, very difficult, almost impossible to kind of claw back to clients' accounts. So if they have been defrauded, or if they have initiated a payment in real time, that kind of the ability to recoup funds is very, very difficult. So I think what banks have typically tried to do is identify what they think may be a fraudulent transaction and effectively stop it. But then you are inconveniencing the client if it was a legitimate payment. The trust alert attempts to kind of really provide a hyper-personalized risk score for that specific transaction. So moving away from kind of a one-size-fits-all rule set to a really personalized rule set, which hopefully in our kind of historical analysis suggests that it's much more accurate, much more specific, so less false positives, and picking up fraud much more accurately. So kind of the best of both worlds, and then alerting the client before they make that payment to a potentially fraudulent third party.
Yeah, and I think that should give one a lot of confidence, knowing that you really were very deliberate about how you designed this in a way to increase trust, but in a way that reduces all of those pain points that inevitably are thrown into the trade-off conversation. I want to come back to what you mentioned earlier about this kind of all-in-one ecosystem that you're building, and the fact that the bank app is now being positioned as your primary digital channel for the entire Discovery group. So you've got motor insurance, investments, all of these things. How does that kind of deep integration create a simpler and a more valuable experience for your clients?
So I think for our clients, I think many of them have multiple Discovery products, whether it's your medical scheme or your investments or your motor insurance. The kind of the range is broad, and the benefits of having multiple products are that the kind of the rewards ecosystems, whether it's travel and discounts on flights, or healthy food, and or healthy care when you're shopping, all are additive. So kind of the more that you behave in a way that manages your health better, or manages your driving better, or manages your finances better, across all the different products, the kind of the rewards stack on each other, and become very, very valuable. So whether you've got one product or multiple products, the kind of the bank app today is that central repository of your entire Discovery portfolio. All of the products accessible. You can see the rewards. You can access them, and it's simple for the client to be able to navigate. So today, the bank app, as I said, accounts for about 80% of all mobile digital accesses across our client base in South Africa. But more than that, we're now enabling our clients to use the bank app and all the data that we have to effectively activate or originate other products. So now you can go into the bank app if you're a client and get a motor insurance quote in literally a few seconds, because we have a lot of the demographic information. We understand a lot about you, like your driving distance, and where you live. So we can give you a really, really accurate motor insurance quote in just a few seconds within the bank app, never having to leave, and full kind of insurance offering on the back of that. So the ability to offer our clients a much more seamless experience in every respect is really coming to fruition in the bank app itself.
And you're certainly not standing on or resting on your laurels, because I see you've expanded the Discovery Miles Plus network. You've now got partners like MultiChoice, Admit Parking. I mean, that's really interesting. I've found Admit just a game changer for me when I go to the mall now. I hate those ticketing machines. They never work. And I just love the fact that I can drive up, the boom opens. I feel a little bit like a VIP. How does that focus on rewarding clients for that kind of everyday spending reinforce that shared value banking model?
So, I mean, you've highlighted two of our new partners, and they both talk to, I think, kind of different aspects of people's behavior, and how rewards and incentives really do change that behavior. So, the kind of the entire basis of our model, of our shared value model, is that as clients really manage their risk better, or change their behavior, or align their behaviors with the kind of the risks that we are collectively exposed to. So if you're managing your money better, credit risk decreases. If you're managing your health better, medical scheme costs reduce, and life insurance is much more sustainable. So it's a question of creating incentives and rewards that do resonate with our clients. And so if you take the kind of the two new partners that we've added, they resonate in completely different ways. Admit really makes the entire parking experience completely seamless, but it's still a grudge kind of cost. While the experience itself is simple and easy, you drive in, shop, and leave, you still incur that cost. What we've done is we said, our Discovery Miles, if you drive in, shop, and spend over 250 Rand at any store while you're in the mall on your Discovery Bank card, then when you leave, we'll effectively cover the cost directly back in miles to you. So kind of it aligns incentives perfectly. It's a true shared value experience, and it removes the not just the friction of parking, but the kind of the grudge cost that you've gone to the shopping mall, you've spent at a store, and now you have to have to pay for the parking as well. So kind of it really talks, I think, to the the nature of us as humans. The multi-choice benefit, I think, is really exciting because it kind of brings together, I think, two really powerful brands in DSTV, which is, we think, kind of just absolutely world-class entertainment and probably the best sporting entertainment and experience for live sports you can get almost anywhere in the world. And it's a really high quality product, and a lot of our clients utilize it, and millions of South Africans. And what we've done there is effectively use the same shared value model, whereby if you're paying your DSTV subscriptions via Discovery Bank and using the bank as your bank, effectively we're covering a large proportion of that cost back to you in miles, really rewarding you for kind of managing your money well in the bank, and then accessing one of our partners, new partners being DSTV. So kind of a really tangible reward that's very, very valuable for our clients, and giving them access to, we think, a world-class product in the most efficient way possible using our platform.
I think I'm going to be doing a bit of signing up when it comes to that time of year where I have a look at these things annually and say, right, am I getting value from the service or not? I mean, this really is stacking up, Hylton. And again, it just goes back to that point around innovating, building this bank of the future. AI, security, crypto, these integrated new shared value benefits. It's clear that you really are building something that is hugely differentiated. What is your ultimate vision here? I mean, is the goal to have South Africans never need to use another financial app? Is this like the one financial app to rule them all?
um, we'd love that, obviously. I think that's something that would tell us that we're doing something really, really right, and meeting our clients' needs. But I think it's probably more than that. I think our purpose is to make people healthier. And in the case of the bank, we believe we can make South Africans financially healthier. We can help them to retire in a more financially sound manner, and really kind of, regardless of their income or their wealth, help them be financially healthier. And if they do engage, and we see that our clients, as they kind of join the bank and start to understand the different aspects of their finances, we see that they do start to manage their finances in a more healthy long-term way. And if we're able to do that, we know that we'll have a profound impact. So I think absolutely we want the Discovery Bank app to be that kind of, as you said, one app to rule them all. We'd love that. We're building it to be able to do that. But I think it's more than that. We want to really help our clients and make them financially healthier. And if we're able to do that, I think they'll do brilliantly, we'll do brilliantly. And I think it'll play out in a way that is just much more sustainable for all of us.
Let's maybe touch on that. Your clients will do brilliantly and you'll do brilliantly, because I think it really underpins the commercial part of the shared value model. Because often, if you look at it, banks have to choose between either investing in an innovation or driving profitability, and kind of, there's a trade-off between the two. You've achieved both this year. And again, I think a big part of that is that behavioral model. I'm sure you are attracting and incentivizing the right kind of behavior that then drives profitability as well. So maybe you could just take us under the hood here and share what you're seeing, and how this approach is actually impacting your commercial success, but also your long-term sustainability.
So I think the kind of, I suppose, the success of the bank is driven by multiple factors. As you say, the behavioral model within our client base is working really well, and we see the correlations that we suspected upfront are really holding out and playing out probably better than we expected. Clients that manage their money well tend to build up higher levels of savings very, very quickly. That brings down their credit risk. We're able to assist them, to lend them money in cases like to buy a home, and increase their asset base, and it becomes kind of this virtuous cycle. So we're seeing that playing out, and we see it playing out in kind of the economics of the bank, where we have a very low credit loss ratio on the back of our clients' behavior. The second aspect is that it allows us to attract, and we're seeing clients at an increasingly rapid rate. So we see that the client base is growing by well over 1,000, 1,300 clients per day. About 2/3 of those are new to the Discovery Group entirely. So we have nearly about 1,000 clients a day joining the bank, and that's their first Discovery product. That presents I think, a unique opportunity for the group as a whole, but for the bank, it kind of gives us a strong growth trajectory. And then the digital banking platform that we've built is very, very efficient. So we can grow the base and still deliver the same level of service, and same quality, which is really important to us, without necessarily kind of increasing the expense base significantly or at the same rate. And when you bring it all together, you get the kind of the results that we've seen where the bank is really kind of at a commercial level, delivering results as well.
I think with that kind of growth, you're going to need one or two more points at the airports to allow that ease of throughput through security. Looking ahead, as we approach 2026, I can't believe we're wrapping up the year. What can Discovery Bank clients look forward to next? Are you going to be launching business and maybe youth banking? Because you've built this really solid chassis, this foundation of banking, insurance, and rewards. Where is the next area of disruption and innovation for you?
So I think the amazing thing with great innovation, is that it tends to open up entirely kind of new opportunity sets. It tends to be quite recursive. As you said, you reflected on our fast track at the airport, but really that emanated out of our travel rewards, bringing down the cost of flights for our clients. We have 1 million flights being booked in the bank app every year now. And then the entire experience kind of led from there, fast track to our lounges, that we have in partnership with SAA at all the airports, and then the entire experience. So kind of the amazing thing about innovation is that it does open kind of new opportunities. So I think for us, yes, absolutely, there's new segments in areas like SMEs and youth and families, and those are kind of natural opportunities that if we think we can really make a disruptive play in, then absolutely that's where we'll start to look. But I think for us, we are very, very focused and on delivering kind of the best retail banking products in the world, and I think that the foundation that's been built gives us the opportunity to do exactly that, and that's where we are.
Well, Hylton, as I said to you before we started this conversation, I've been chatting to some of your competitors, and often when I mention where the market is headed, talk to me about the competitive landscape. Discovery Bank is the first bank that is mentioned, and I think that is the highest accolade to achieve in a very competitive South African banking environment. So congratulations, great chatting to you, and a truly revealing conversation about where the bank is headed, not in theory, but really in practice, and not just keeping up with the digital curve. I think you want to bend that curve through all of these things, the behavioral banking, the AI-driven security, and that move into crypto as well. Thank you very much for your time.
Michael, thank you so much.